Hi, it's Tim from Toy Tinker Tim, and in this episode I'll be going over a 1972 Action Backpack escape car. This is just one in this series of 6 Action Backpacks that were made for the Adventure Team G.I. Joes. Let's take a look. We've got some of the usual age and storage issues. It's a little dirty, grimy. Otherwise, all the little clips are there. Nothing is missing or rusted out or whatever. The only thing I know I can tell right up front, other than the cleaning, is I'm going to have to replace the elastic seat belt here. The elastic product is from like 1972, so at least at the time of this video you're looking at about 45 years old, and the latex in the elastic is dried out. It's brittle. It just shot. So I like to keep things original, but I also like to be able to keep them as functional as possible. So this is a pretty simple replacement fix to do. We'll get some measurements on the elastic. It's 1/2 inch, but I'm going to take a look and see how much of this material is stitched in on the overfold here on each end. Get those measurements as well, and then we'll remove that and go on with the cleanup. And after we're cleaned up good, we'll put on a little bit of the plastic polish to get off some of the surface scratches, nicks, whatever, and a little bit of the plastic oxidation there, the dulling of that plastic that takes place over time and from play wear. So we'll start out here. We'll get this one done. Okay, so taking a look at replacing that elastic, it's gotten quite dried out. So this is a 1/2 inch width thickness, and I've found this band style is pretty much unchanged. I'm not sure how good the camera's going to pick that up here, because this one's got kind of debris caught in there, which makes it stand out more than this one. But the style, this banding in there, is pretty much traditional, I suppose. It's not really changed over the years. So, not endorsing this brand, just trying to let you know that's what I had found here. This Dritz 1/2 inch braided elastic, and I did not realize there were so many different weaves or types of the elastic out there. But and this was only available at the store in this 4.5 yards, which, yeah, it's a lifetime supply for me here. So who knows, maybe some other projects will come up, but it's fairly inexpensive. So the measurements here for this turned out to be, while it's still stitched here and attached, it's like 3¼ inch. And then I've measured out the fold over material at each end. It's about 1/2 inch. So that brings us up to about a total of 4¼ inches total length here that I'm going to be cutting to replace this here with then. So that will be that step and project here. So as I get ready to wash the car seat here, I'm going to take off the elastic here first, but I'm just taking note of the stitching here. In particular, there we go. I'm looking up here. You'll see just the one band of stitch there, because on the reverse here, let's get that in if we can to a good focus here. There's only 2 dots, so or 2 stitch marks here on the back side. one on each corner, so they did their knot, come through over the back, and one stitch back into this side. On the clip end, however, the stitching is straight across. They did a complete stitch across there, so just something interesting to note when go back to restitch all this together. Okay, so I've gotten all the pieces washed and dried up. There is some, I don't know if you can tell here, it's some grit or debris. Anyhow, it would not scrub out. So pieces, really everything is cleaned up. You could just let it be as it is, but I'm going to go over everything again with the plastics. Plastic cleaner and polish. It's labeled for clear plastic. It's fine, but it's also supposed to kind of take out some yellowing and stuff like that. So I'm not expecting it to do a big difference of de-yellowing any of the white plastic here. I'm looking to see more if I can get out some of that kind of ground in debris in there. It's kind of scratched in from the parts sliding together and stuff there. So anyhow, that's the next step. I'm going to go over everything with some of that. I'll use a combination of cotton ball for in there and Q-tips to get into the real hard to get crevices, and then just polish it off clean and dry with a super soft cloth. So you can see there already, going over it, it's improved it quite a bit with that plastic cleaner polish versus using some kind of a like a cleaner chemical on the plastic that might do more wear on the plastic itself, kind of eat into it. So the polish does a good job of getting out that, but then also coating and protecting it. It'll probably help the pieces kind of fit and slide together also without so much abrasion to the surface there. So I'm just going to keep going here and just go over everything here now as much best I can, all the parts, and give it a good polishing. Okay, so I've gone over all the pieces with the plastic cleaner, and I think you can see there is a difference there. It doesn't put so much a shine as it does just clean up. It's not like a wax. So that's the good thing. It doesn't put this artificial, overly glossy look to things, but it does take out all the fine scratches and imperfections in there, and puts it back more into just kind of a fresh new look. And took Q-tips to get into all the little crevices and whatnot in there, and made sure to clean around any of the areas where there's plastic rubbing against plastic. The connection tabs here with this, I kind of cleaned up that little ramp of a spot there and there to make sure that that was just going to help reduce friction, as well as the pegs that the wheels go onto. And again, paying special attention to the inside of the wheels there to clean out around through there. Again, make sure that it kind of helps to aid in the putting on removal and flow there, because as this plastic ages too, it becomes less flexible. It's getting a little more brittle. So final step now is put on our new replacement elastic. Wow, having some issues. And we'll get that one set. All right. So I finished stitching on the new elastic, old elastic, new elastic, and tried to stay as close to the original, you know, as true as possible here. Still seem to be having some speech problems. Let's take a look. We said the original was 3 1/4 inch when it's all still attached and sewn. Come on, let's get up here. I'd say, and I'm not stretching on it, no cheating, and it's 3 1/4. So these had a 1/2 inch overlap on each end to stitch on. I maintained as true as possible to the original, just the 2 tack in the back and across the front, and this one is straight line sewn across there. So and then on the harness here there's just some loose threads, so I took a nice pair of scissors, good sharp ones, and trimmed off any of the loose threads on there. Don't ever pull on them, because then you'll start unraveling a bunch of stuff, and we don't want that to happen. So I think we'll try assembly here and take a look at the finished product. I would call this part of the story so close and yet so far. So I finished cleaning everything, and I'm putting the car into its backpack mode, and I was going to set it up on a figure for some outdoor photography, get some still shots for Instagram. The Instagram, which is the Toy Tinker Tim, because I got locked out of the old Toy Tinker Tim. It wouldn't reset. So anyhow, the new Instagram is the Toy Tinker Tim. So I was getting some shots, going to set up outside, and putting the harness on. I discovered how this goes is it slides under a tab here, and over here, ta-da, there is no tab. The tab is gone, it's broken. So putting the best construction on everything. I would say, since I've gotten it through an auction on eBay, the person selling it may not have even known. I'm going to go with that route. That thing was broke on there in the time of the sale. It wasn't in the listing. So we're going to take a look at making a new tab. So here's a little bonus now we'll get to go into. So I think we can do it, and we'll go over it here. If I get going too far on this project, what I'm doing is I'm going to start with this scrap piece of styrene that I'm going to be carving into my duplicate of this to attach over here to this broken stub right there, and to replicate that clip. So just want to give it for reference of where I'm starting at, what I'm working with. Styrene, you can get sheets of styrene at a craft hobby store, and this piece is part of a larger sheet that I had left over from another project. Okay, so we finished the repair on the clip that was broken. If I had the original broken piece, it'd be a lot of a quicker process, but that was gone and missing. So I carved that out of the scrap piece of styrene that I had, and used my calipers here just to make sure I was getting my dimensions, you know, the width and everything set from that for the replacement piece. And I sanded the broken edge over here even before I glued on the new piece, and it's kind of a harsher white compared, so I took a tint from the oil pastels and tinted it a little bit, using a Q-tip, brushing it on and then rubbing it off to get something that would just kind of more, not just stand out at you as you looked at it there. So the harness here, come on, there we go. So that's our end result. It holds in, clips in good, and I believe, unless I run into something else, that is the final step in the repair and restoration of the escape car. So we'll go to some final images here now.